Hi, everyone. Welcome to SBR Sports Picks. My name is Peter Loshak. This is the live show that we do every morning, 10:30 Eastern Time, where I give my official picks. Matty Ice yesterday. You know what my record was yesterday?
I'm going to say not good.
7-2, baby.
Oh, well, sorry. That face had a
yeah.
be concerned.
7 and motherfucking 2 yesterday. And of course, as is most often the case, the low-hanging fruit once again cashed.
That was good.
Yes. Relatively easily. I'm telling you, man, I haven't checked the low-hanging fruit. You know what I did check though, Matty Ice? I'm not that great at self-promotion, but I'm going to try to be a little bit better at it.
Believe it or not, I did know that.
What?
Believe it or not, I did know that.
You remember when I started to wear that Yankees jacket, the Yankees Warriors outfit for good luck, right?
Correct.
Since that was on July 5th, I went back and looked at my record. Since then, average line of -110. My record has been 85 and 55, up 25.5 units.
Say that again. I'm gonna write that down.
Since the Yankees, since that first day, including that day, I think it was July 5th. I have it in my record. Average line of -110, 85 and 55, up 25.5 units. The ROI I think was like 19% or something like that.
Nice,
massive. And
I will promote that.
Yes, and as always, that's since I did the little. And of course, I said that, in the second half of the seasons, I tend to do better anyway.
That's fantastic.
But yes, that's since I did that. And of course, as we know, this low-hanging fruit stuff, win, lose, or draw, there have been some losers for sure, but much more often than not, the low-hanging fruit, whether I have a good day, a bad day, an even day, the low-hanging fruits tend to be very good.
Yeah, especially in the beginning.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember there was a 2.5 week period where you only lost one.
Yes.
And you did it every day.
Then it went a little bit 50-50, and recently it's been picking up again. All right, so some people saying that Jay, is chat not working? No, it's working now. It's okay. All right. Okay.
After yesterday, that might not be so bad.
Yeah, right. Okay, so for today's card, the not so great news is that there's nothing that I'm really liking on the overnight lines and also on the WNBA games. I did have a loser yesterday with my WNBA pick. There are some things I'm liking in CFL, and I do have some opinions on the first handful of college football games that come up this Saturday. Hoping to have a decent season. There are a couple of bets that I made on those games, and I'll share them with you in a little bit. The only bet that I did make I made two solid plays on the overnight lines. The first one is I hit the under in Colorado KC. I had a winner with that one yesterday. That was one of my winners, the under in Colorado KC, and I hit the under again tonight. I got 9.5. It's now down to 9, although the Greek still has 9.5 -130. Pitching matchup is Senzatella against Kennedy, which explains why the line is a little bit high. Obviously, Senzatella started out great and then made a big regression in his results and his velocity, and he started to really stink up the joint, which is not uncommon for a youngster like that who starts out hot. But they moved into the bullpen. They started to reduce his innings. They're aware of his reduction in velocity, and I'm willing to bet that in this start, he has a good enough start to make the under a good bet. I'm assuming that Colorado will, keep his pitch count in this one relatively low, and in his recent 2-inning relief appearances, he's been okay. So I'm willing to bet that Senzatella has a decent start, and then Ian Kennedy, of course, terrible at home, which is a little bit baffling. And his last start was not great. His fastball was off, but again, Kennedy is kind of reliable. I like to fade Colorado's lineup on the road, so I'm hoping that we might get 6 innings, 3 or 4 runs from Kennedy, and if Senzatella has a decent start, the under 9.5 is a good bet. So I did bet that one on the overnight line. I beat the move by a half run. The Greek has 9.5 -130, and Pinnacle has 9 -105. I have to decide which one of those I'm going to give, but I'm definitely going to give one of those. And then the other bet that I hit on the overnight line in the season series preview show that I did on Monday, I suggested that Wednesday was the best, might be the best spot to try to time a win with Washington. Of course, they did win yesterday. Houston has been the worst team in terms of ROI in baseball in August, and they're coming off of yet another home loss as a big favorite. So they're definitely a fadeable team right now, and I suggested that Wednesday might be the best spot to look to fade Houston. Byers, of course, has been struggling majorly, and Edwin Jackson has been excellent. He's probably going to regress a bit going forward. He's been pitching a little bit over his head, but probably will just regress down to being mediocre, nothing worse than that. Byers having some serious struggles, so I jumped on the Washington line immediately when I saw it open in like the plus 160s. It's taken a hit down about 15 cents or so, so now it's down to like into the plus 140s. Bet online has plus 151. So those are the two bets that I made on the overnight line, and I'd also be looking to fade fires with the Washington team total over and the first 5 innings team total over, although weirdly Pinnacle and the rest of the market doesn't have a first 5 innings team total over yet for that game, and a few others. They've got about half the card up for the first 5 inning team totals, and then the rest of the card doesn't have them. But those are my leans. I'm probably going to be wind up giving picks on both of those, and then the rest of the card is just there's nothing that's really jumping out at me. Obviously, you could take a shot with the Dodgers again. I mentioned yesterday that the Dodgers line didn't make any sense to me, and in retrospect, that turned out to be perfectly accurate. The Dodgers cashed, and those are 2 of my winners yesterday. Dodgers -1 and the Dodgers on the second half. And again here, Trevor Williams is pretty reliable. Rich Hill is, has taken a step down from when he was excellent, but he's still given, 5 inning, 3-run starts, start in and start out, and just seems like the overall edge the Dodgers have might give them value again here, even in the -160s. So that's tempting. Then the Milwaukee-San Francisco game is slightly tempting on the first 5 innings over. Both Moore and Garza can be hittable, although Moore has been a little bit better recently, and Garza is coming off of a shellacking at Coors, so he might have a significantly better start here. It's definitely tough, no matter who the starting pitchers are, to take a first 5 innings over at 5 in San Francisco. So, that's tempting. Then the Boston-Cleveland game is definitely tempting. Both Kluber and Pomerantz are coming off of injuries. Pomerantz coming off of back spasms, and Kluber coming off of an ankle injury. Reports are that Kluber is fine, although, an ankle injury for a pitcher can sometimes, change their mechanics slightly, and that can alter their results drastically. Pomerantz with back spasms, that's not great, but you got to figure that if he comes out, that if they crop up again, that they'll pull him pretty quickly. Yesterday, Mike Heap asked about Boston as a huge road underdog against Cleveland. I gave the opinion that at that line I had to endorse the play, and of course Boston won easily yesterday. Wasn't expecting that, but they did cash easily as a huge underdog, and I guess I'd have to feel the same way about them today with Pomerantz against Kluber. So, slight lean to Boston. Also would have to have a slight lean, I guess, to the under with those 2 pitchers starting, although there are obviously questions with their health. And then another, pick that's somewhat tempting is Arizona against the Mets. Arizona cashed yesterday, and I had a winner on that one with the over in that game. And I really like the Arizona team total over yesterday. I was going to be on it with Maps, and then with the pitching change to Malone, I wound up being on it again. And the pitching matchup here, Godley against Flexen. Flexen obviously having major control issues in the major, so he's probably going to be vulnerable again here. And Godley has been decent, still getting strikeouts, giving up some runs, but still getting strikeouts. So maybe you could make the argument that Arizona, as a huge road favorite here, has some value. But in general, it's just a tricky card. And then, of course, the Yankees got a big win yesterday, Matty Ice.
Did they?
Yes, and I wound up I gave it as a lean, the Yankees -1 in the second half, and close to first pitch. I wound up being on both of those pretty big. And I wound up being on the Yankees first 5 innings team total over 2.5 -150 big yesterday. The wind was blowing out to left, and so I definitely was on that one. And then today, I don't know about this one. Again, it might be a play that I'll be on or not on my first pitch, but it's Severino against Zimmerman. Severino, most of the time out, has an excellent start. His last start was excellent. Once in a while gets hit, and Zimmerman has been getting absolutely crushed recently. So once again, it's tempting to take the Yankees, although once again, the Yankees are a massive road favorite. And if you want to take them on the second half, it's just too high at -210. Can't do that. So that's tempting. And it's also tempting to take a shot with Atlanta as a home underdog. Ramirez against Dickey. Ramirez is, solid as a 5-inning spot starter for Seattle, but Dickey is enjoying a resurgence this year. Most of his starts are decent, and I think it's reasonable to assume he's going to have another decent start. So you might want to take a shot with Atlanta as a home dog. I did take that one. I actually, on the overnight, I took him at +112. I'm seeing that now at the Greek +115 is available. So that's tempting. So all those plays are slightly tempting. The only ones that I'm really liking, again, are the KC Colorado under, although I like that one a lot more at 9.5 than what it is now at 9, and also the Washington line, and I like that one also a bit more at plus 160 than at the current line of like plus 150, and I would also be leaning to the Washington team total overs. Those are the only plays that I'm definitely liking solidly. The other plays are just lukewarm. So it's probably not going to be a big card here. There was a pitching change in the Oakland game. The Miami-Philly game didn't have an overnight line because there was a pitching change there as well. So it's a little bit of a tough card, a little bit of a tricky card. The Cubs against Cincinnati is also interesting. Chris Bryant is out for the Cubs today, I believe, and Montgomery decent. Wojciechowski, it can be okay. So I would have a slight lean towards Cincinnati as a home dog in the plus 130s. Again, that's just a slight lean there again as well. So a couple of plays that I'm liking a decent amount, and about 7 or 8 plays that I'm liking just a very teeny bit. Nothing on WNBA that I'm really liking, and we will get to college football in a second. I did make a bunch of bets on the college football games coming up this Saturday. So that's about it. Let's get to some of the comments to see if anyone can shed some light on some of these games and some of the opinions. Yeah, here we go.
Yep, let's
now
do it.
this is the part of the show that half the people have been waiting for and half the people click off on. All right, when we get to the comments. Mike Keep says Severino first 5 always goes over. Really? That's interesting. I didn't.
Severino, really?
I don't understand.
I don't
why
think that was
be
true for quite a while, actually.
I mean, Zimmerman is definitely vulnerable for sure here. So let's see. McGodster says, "Good day, Pete. How about Godley today?" Yes, I like Godley today. What I don't like is the road favorite line in the minus 160s for Arizona. Flexen is obviously a guy who's struggling big time in the majors, but at some point, he's going to have a good start, a surprisingly good start. He had some good results in the low minors this year, and at some point he might figure it out. Next year, 2 years from now, and this year in September, he might have some surprisingly decent starts. So I don't love that big road favorite line. Maybe a shot with the Mets on the first 5 innings team total under might have some value. I don't know if that line is out yet. Yeah, it's 2 minus 108. That's a little bit tempting, but Godley is not that great that I want to be taking first 5 innings team total unders with him. So yeah, all right. Let's see. Did you see what's going on?
I'm starting to catch up.
I turn. I'm like, maybe I can find some insights into some of these betting lines. I turn and I say, Kobe. I see for months more lies. Really, come see me in person. Say this to my face, punk. Yes. And if anyone goes to Kobe and says it to his face, someone please tape it and send it to us so that we can use the footage. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hashtag.
Yes.
SBR.
Yeah. Yes. And also, if anyone has any negative comments to say about me or this show, please come say it to my face here in Costa Rica. We'll tape it. It'll be great. And please thumbs up or thumbs down or whatever. No, this is awesome, man. We gotta have some kind of a post show where we discuss all the squabbles and everything. This shit is awesome. This is funny as hell. So Sana says, Pete, you hurt Lou Skunt's feelings. I did? How? Where? When?
I don't know. He did say yesterday that he wasn't going to comment anymore.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know.
Do you think it's because I made a joke where I said
I don't know if it had anything to do with you. Honestly, I just don't know.
Well, no, because he's saying so Sana. I think maybe he knows Lou Skunt, and he says, Pete, you hurt Lou Skunt's feelings.
Don't we all know Lou Skunt?
It might be because I made a joke where Lou Skunt, where I said that if you have a screen name of Loose Cunt, your people will take you less seriously. But I was just kidding around.
Well, that's not incorrect either.
Yeah, no, I was just kidding around. I love Loose Cunt. Where did he go? What? Loose Cunt thinks you don't like him, Pete. Apparently, I think these guys talk to each other.
They do.
So Sana says he said you called him out and made fun of him the other day. No, I was kidding. I was kidding around. Lou Skunt, I was kidding around. I love the are you kidding? Lou Skunt is my second favorite poster name out of all of these guys besides You Dumb Porn Ratanafakti.
Oh no, he's hands down my favorite.
Who? You Dumb Porn Ratanafakti. No, you like Lou Skunt more than You Dumb Porn Ratanafakti?
Every single time.
Oh yeah, no, I'm talking about just the name.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah, I like to say Lou Skunt, second only to You Dumb Porn Ratanafakti. Oh, well, I love Lou Skunt. Oh no. All right, we'll try to, because I dissed his name. Oh, no, this is the problem with jokes, man. This is the problem with jokes. You make jokes. If you don't make jokes, people say you're boring and you have no balls. If you do make jokes, you wind up, doing stuff like, no, I love Loose Cunt. Loose Cunt, please come back. I was kidding around. It was a deadpan joke. I do deadpan jokes a lot of the time.
If he does come back, we have to rip him mercilessly. That's name that.
Yes. Wang Zhou is in his own. Now there's someone with a screen name Pomoran Trollmore. Awesome. Wow. Yes, Sosana, please, if anyone is in contact with Loose Cunt, please tell him it's a joke. We love him. His poster name is actually, in fact, my second favorite poster name out of all the poster names that exist. Second only to Udamporn Ratanafakti, who just posted, "Wear Lucky Jersey Pete." So, yes. Billy Walters said, "Pete blocked me. Elmat laughed my ass up." What? I didn't block anyone. What are you talking about? I blocked him?
I thought he was in jail.
I don't know. Anyway, no, that's obviously not the real. All right. Anyway, let's get back to Mike Keep says, Pete, fuck them if you hurt their feelings. Love how you don't hold back or take shit from anyone. Yes. No. I don't mind hurting people's feelings, but no, it's frustrating when I make what I assume to be an obvious joke.
Yeah.
See, I knew this even when I was in like high school. I used to make jokes, and I was like, oh, these jokes are so funny, and then people come up to me like, we can't tell when you're joking or not, and I'm like, really? You can't tell them when I say some like sick, crazy shit that is just a joke? All right. Anyway, yes, we love Loose Cunt. And actually, his posts are very funny. And absolutely, if Loose Cunt makes any serious questions about games, obviously, I will address them. It's just a little bit hard to address all the serious questions because there's so many comments here. And half of them are funny, half of them are serious, and so they're insightful. All right, so.
Thank you, John Kerry.
Yes.
This show is better than ESPN.
And
I'll tell you why.
Yes,
I read this article
Kerry.
this morning. I think you would be interested in this, Pete.
What?
ESPN has a sideline or a reporter for their college football.
Yeah.
He for Virginia, right?
Yeah.
You know everything going on there. His name is Robert Lee. And they took him off of the Virginia college football for League One because of his name. Now the funny thing about it is he is an Asian gentleman.
Is that true?
That is 100% true.
Wow.
Yeah. How stupid are they?
Well, I support that. No, I don't know. Wow, that is crazy. That's funny.
Yeah, it is funny.
Welcome to 2017, baby. You know, welcome to the age of the internet where political correctness is to the moon, baby. It's just like people don't know what to do because I guess they mean well. They're trying to they're trying to not hurt people's feelings. They're trying to not be an asshole to everyone, trying to please their advertisers and everything. But yeah, you wind up with insane. Hey, it's not like the '80s where you remember the '80s and the '90s where you had fucking Andrew Dice Clay,
I just watched an interview with him last night.
Can you imagine if Eddie Murphy went up and if someone did the act that Eddie Murphy did in the '80s? That person would be lynched.
Just the beating up the kids alone.
Oh my God! Yeah.
Great show.
I even watched. You remember the movie 16 Candles? Yeah. Like every other scene in that movie would be banned this in 2017. Long Duck Dong. You can't get away with that in 2000. You remember that?
I'm watching that.
You remember that? Oh my God. Anyway, all right. Let's get back to the.
We got college football, right, too?
Yeah. Okay. Let's get. Mike keep asking Pete, is there a low-hanging fruit today? No. And in fact, there's only there's only two plays that I'm liking. I mean, you could consider the Washington team total over to be low-hanging fruit, but I don't really consider a fade of Fires to be low-hanging fruit. The fade of Tyson Ross yesterday was like Tyson Ross is just, I'm fading him against any team, any lineup. Fires is just a guy with a good arm who's struggling for real right now, so I'm definitely looking to bet against him, excited to bet against him, but I couldn't consider that to be low-hanging fruit. And the KC-Colorado game, the under, I just think it's a solid play, not low-hanging fruit. I mean, you can't start labeling things low-hanging fruit when they're not. Otherwise, you start to get into that territory where you start labeling Asian guys Robert E. Lees, and then you're
not Robert E. Lee. It's just Robert Lee.
Yeah, I mean,
Nonetheless, I would still disagree with that decision.
Right. The low-hanging fruits have to be low-hanging fruit. You just can't take like some plastic pineapple and say this is a low-hanging fruit. No low-hanging fruits officially for today. All right, so let's get to college football. Let's get to college football.
Yes, let's get it. And guys, as always, if you're enjoying the content, like, subscribe. And we're sponsored, as always, by Intertops. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Intertops. All right, so First bet that I made on the college football game. And keep in mind, the college football, as with all sports, in general, my opinions on totals are much stronger than my opinions on sides. And my opinions in the second half of the season are much stronger than my opinions in the first half of the season, except, though, for like the first week. The first week of the season can be, if I prepare well, can be good. So Saturday games, couple bets that I made. First one, South Florida over San Jose State. I got them at 20.5, minus 20.5. I suspect that by kickoff, it'll be, up above 21, maybe close to like 23 or 23.5, depending on if sharp money hits it when the markets expand or not. But it's just obviously USF high hopes for this year. Charlie Strong, new coach. He has something to prove. USF has something to prove because they didn't win the conference last year, and they outclassed San Jose State. Now, if you want to get cute, which a lot of times I do, and sometimes I get burned on, but if you want to get cute, maybe South Florida on the first half is better. It should be less than 14 by the time that the first half comes out. So anything under 14, 13, 13.5, 12, something like that. South Florida in the first half might be a better bet than on the full game at 20.5 or 21 where it is now. But I jumped on South Florida at minus 21. Total's a little bit tricky because USF, I don't think they'll want to get into a shootout. Total in the upper 60s is probably right where it should be. Could easily see the game being high scoring and then sneaking under that high total at the end. But both teams have new coaching staffs and new systems. The difference is that South Florida is awesome. And San Jose State is very iffy. So I'm going to And also San Jose State doesn't have a quarterback, so it might not
makes things difficult.
What?
Never helps.
Yeah, right. So South Florida minus 20.5 was one bet that I made, and I also took a shot with Hawaii. Hawaii +2 against UMass. Now, again, this one is, anytime it's the beginning of the season, you never quite know what you're going to get from week one. And, the team previews are always, hopeful. Every team is like, oh, we got a new coach, or we got new energy, or we got a new scheme, or we got some new players, or, we're healthy now, and all that stuff. So there are always positive signs. And if you research UMass, you can find the positive signs for this year. They do have a lot of, returning quote unquote talent. UMass is one of those teams where if they have a lot of returning starters, it's not clear whether that's a good thing or a bad thing because they've been awful for a long time. Hawaii, though, has a lot of upside this year, a lot more legit promise. Travel shouldn't be an issue for Hawaii because it is the first game of the season, and I'm higher on Hawaii in the first week than I am on UMass. So I'm going to take Hawaii plus, I bet it, Hawaii, and that is definitely an official pick. And then the Stanford-Rice game is another tricky one. That is one where I would be leaning both, Rice plus all those points and more strongly the under. I took the under at 51. Stanford obviously is looking to improve this year. It's obviously a game in Australia, and so you never know what's going to happen. It could easily sneak over the total late. And if Rice obviously is a very, very vulnerable defense. If Stanford wanted to run up the score on them, they could easily. I'm not sure that they will be motivated to do that here, despite the fact that it's in Sydney. And Rice, their only strength this year is their offensive line. They have, returning starters on the offensive line. So I'm guessing we're going to get a huge dose of running from Rice, and that it should be a relatively low-scoring win by Stanford that still sneaks under, and where probably Rice has value at about 31. So, I'm expecting, some kind of like 34-7 type game, something like that, maybe 34-3. So, the Rice plus the points is it makes me a little bit nervous because Rice is just so bad. On the other hand, definitely Stanford is looking towards the whole season, whereas this is a huge game for Rice. Rice knows that they're horrible this year. They're terrible. They're probably going to be horrific in the second half of the season when their depth starts to get tested. So this might be Rice's Super Bowl, going into Australia, playing in week 0. So Rice probably going to give everything they have here, and I would say that Rice at plus 31 is probably the way to go. But I'm going to be on the under at 51. And then the Oregon State-Colorado State game is an interesting game. Obviously, there's a very high ceiling for Colorado State and possibly a low floor as well. Colorado State's also opening their new stadium, and Oregon State is also a team that I have as possibly undervalued going forward. They're a team that is definitely improving. That's a tricky game. I would definitely be leaning Colorado State and slightly to the under at 59, despite the fact that that Colorado State, can be bad defensively. The only issue here is just that Colorado State was bad defending the run last year. Oregon State is their clear strength, especially to start the season on the run at the run. So and Oregon State was better with their pass defense last year. So that's also Colorado State's strength here. So the game's a tricky one. I would definitely be leaning Colorado State though at -3.5. They're a tricky team because Colorado State last year had their ceiling was very high. They played an unusually high number of games they played at an elite level, but also their floor was very low. So you don't quite know what you're going to get here, and expectations, of course, are high this year for Colorado State. First game in the new on-campus stadium, so slight lean to Colorado State -3, or I would say modest lean to Colorado State -3.5, and also a modest lean to the under at 59. I'm assuming that Oregon State, is going to play a similar style as what Gary Anderson does. He likes to play a run-heavy game and keep scores modest like he did at Utah State. So despite the fact that Colorado State, vulnerable on defense and their strength is offensively here, I would lean to the under anyway. And last year, Colorado State only went into the mid-50s against teams like this, and I'm assuming Oregon State again is going to try to run it at them hard to limit possessions in this game. So I like the under in this one, under at 59. I did take that one, and I also took a small shot with Colorado State -3.5. So those are my picks here. My 4 picks, I would say: Oregon State, Colorado State under 59, South Florida -20.5, Hawaii +2, and Stanford Rice under 51. And I would also throw in Colorado State -3.5 as a strong lean / maybe a pick as well. And that's about it for there you go, Matty. I broke down the first 4 games.
Exciting.
Yes, it is. Gave a pick on each of them. Oregon State, Colorado State under 59, South Florida -21, Hawaii +2, and Stanford Rice under 51. And you know what? I'll start off. I'm going to be tracking all my picks in college football and in NFL this year. I'll make all 4 of those official picks. All 4 of those official picks. I might throw on Colorado State, later on. But as of right now, and I'll check the lines here. Let me pull up SBRodds.com. While I'm pulling up the lines, SBRodds.com, it might be a nice time to remind people about SBRodds.com, because in football, line shopping is where you really can tell the difference. In baseball, it can sometimes be a little bit, you're like, well, +150, +160, -150, -160. I'll just bet to win 100, and who cares if I'm laying 150 or 155. Yeah, but in football, we were talking about spreads. The half points really matter, and there will be multiple games where those half points are the difference between a win or a push, or a loss or a push. So, SBRodds.com, absolutely free line shopping service provided by SportsBook Review, 100% free and customizable, which is great. Very easy to learn how to customize it, and when you learn how to customize it, you can. It's just very useful. You can see only the games you want to see. You can see only the books you want to see in the order that you want. Everything, very customizable. Not too hard, especially if you're a little bit internet savvy. So our viewers who are 70 and over might have a little bit of a tough time with it, but everyone else should be okay.
Is there anybody 70 and over watching this show? I'd be very impressed.
Yes. All right. So the Hawaii game is, it's all over the map, but +2, -106 at Pinnacle. That's the line on that one. +2, -106 at Pinnacle. Wow. And the South Florida game is now over 21. It's 21.5 or 22. Let me think about that. All right.
South Florida?
Yeah, I got 20.5 on my bet. It opened at 20. All right, I guess I'll give 21.5 -106, which is the Pinnacle line right now. I'll check to see if the first halves are over. And now let me just get to the totals so I can quote the totals here. Colorado State and Oregon State under 59 at
that
the
counts,
Greek.
Vig.
What?
Vig said he has the liver of a 70-year-old.
Nice. Hey, Vig, ask Vig if he can.
You ask him. You're looking.
Vig, if you could just reach out to that guy Lou Skunt and just put in a good word for me. Just massage him a little bit, being like, "Listen, Mr. Skunt, it was just a miscommunication. Pete doesn't hate you. Pete loves you." And let him know that his poster name is my second favorite poster name, second only to You Dumb Porn Ratanafakti. So if you could be
you crushed Pete
mediator, yeah, he crushed me. All right, and then Rice and Stanford under 51 -107. So those are my picks. Oregon State, Colorado State, under 59, minus 115. Rice, Stanford, under 51, minus 107. Hawaii, +2, minus 106. And then South Florida. I guess I'm going to have to take 21.5 for my official pick here. Let me check if the first tabs are out yet. No, they're not. All right, I'll give that one, and maybe I'll just double up on the first half. I'll give it 21.5 minus 106. But again, these half points do matter. And, there's some 21.5s and 22s, and guaranteed, if you bet college football for a couple of years, there will be, a few times where you'll have a team, minus 22, and they win by 21.5. And those half points matter, and you can easily line shop at SBRodds.com.
It's amazing how accurate these guys are with their predictions of this stuff.
Yes.
Especially in the basketball playoffs last year.
Yeah.
And
not only that, but what really blows my mind is, I'm a little bit concerned because one of the most popular, probably the most popular show I've ever done, Into the Weekend with Bet DSI, where the lines guy, headlines manager at DSI Sportsbook, that tells us all about the sharp action that he gets. I haven't been able to get in contact with him, so I'm not sure if we're going to be doing that show this year. I hope we can. But one of the things that's a big takeaway for me that we've discussed over the years is how specific and particular the sharp action is about those half points.
Yeah.
Like even between like 2 and 2.5 in college football. Like Brent will always tell us about how a line will be 2.5, and then when it drops down to 2, suddenly sharp action will come in, and then when it's back up to 2.5, they won't touch it, and then it creeps up. When it creeps up to 4.5, suddenly sharp action comes in, and then when it goes back down to 4, the sharp action is off. So, and then in those games, I there's so many times when it actually does wind up mattering. So yeah, the half points do matter in college football and in football and in basketball and everything. So yeah, all right. That's it for college football. And as far as MLB today, all right, let me check the comments here about
very tame today compared to yesterday.
I'm sorry, what?
Very tame today compared to yesterday's.
Yeah.
Whatever that was.
I feel bad about loose cunt. I love loose cunt. All right. Let's look for some comments here. Donald Mao says, I don't usually back the Jays, but I like Stroman more than Pruitt. Yeah, the only issue with that is just that Tampa Bay just saw Stroman in his last start, so he's seeing them for 2 starts in a row. He has had 3 starts against Tampa Bay this year. All 3 of them have been excellent. So, that's a game I'm staying off of. Once again, staying off of. Yeah. All sorts of fun. Austin Geis says, is buying points for suckers? All right, this is an interesting question.
Yes, very
Austin Geis, is buying points for suckers? In general, no. It depends on how much you're being charged. So it used to be a great thing. The books didn't know how to price half points in football, and most of the sharps would buy on and off the 3 and on and off the 7. Even in college football, they didn't know how to price it. Now, of course, they know how to price it a lot better. And now, for the most part, you are yes, you're overpaying for the points that you buy or sell, unless your handicapping indicates that those points are actually worth more. So if you're blindly buying points, yes, you're paying too much for them. But if you have a reason to believe that, basically when you're buying or selling points, you are betting on volatility, right? If you're buying a point, it means that you're betting on low volatility, because you're betting that the amount that they're charging you for the point is not enough, as you should be getting charged. When you're selling points, you're betting on high volatility, that the amount that you are selling the points for is worth more than that the amount that you're getting for it is worth more than what it should be. So when you're buying and selling points and runs in baseball and anything, you're basically handicapping high or low volatility. And if your handicapping of the volatility of the game is accurate, then buying and selling points can be a very valuable thing to do. But in general, if you're just blindly buying and selling points, yes, now the books know how to price them, and they are charging you a small premium. Not a huge premium, but a small premium. So when you're handicapping the volatility of a situation, you don't have to have a huge edge on that to make it worth your while to buy or sell points. But yes, in general, if you're blindly buying them, yes, they are charging you a little bit more for that privilege than what you should appropriately be charged. But that's across the board. In individual cases, that is not necessarily the case. So there you go. Tomor says, Pete, I think there's some value on over in Washington, Houston, and St. Louis, San Diego. Yeah, I was thinking about maybe unders in the St. Louis, San Diego series, but obviously San Diego exploded offensively, and Chassin is very, very vulnerable on the road, so he can get hit. And then Luke Weaver coming up is a guy who is kind of an unknown entity. So I can see why you would want to play on the over on that one. I'm not on it, but I can see why you would want to play there. And then in the Washington-Houston game, yeah, I wouldn't disagree with you on that one. I definitely think that the problem is just a high total. I saw 9.5 on the overnight line. If I were going to take an over, which I probably am going to do before this show is out, it would be on the Washington either team total over or the first 5 innings team total over, or maybe both. So I can see that at 9.5, though. I don't think I would want. Okay, Tomoyo says the single dumbest thing in all of sports betting is buying points or betting teasers in college football. Yes, in general, point values, buying and selling points in college football is a lot less valuable than in NFL, for example. But again, it's all about volatility, high volatility or low volatility. Yes, you're right. Tomoyo betting teasers in college football is seen as in general a square thing to do. All right, so. So Santa says Susanna says Orioles are 5-2 in the last 7 games following a loss. Orioles are 5-0 in Bundy's last 5 starts. That's interesting. Obviously, Baltimore is overall in the season has a great record at home, and I haven't looked into that because there was a pitching change for Oakland, and I don't know if I'd want Bundy in the minus 180s. So Santa, yes, maybe Baltimore is a better than 50% chance to win this game, but are they a good bet at minus 180? Maybe, but that doesn't jump out at me as something that's immediately obvious. All right, so let's see, a lot of funny shit going on here. Get loose, guy, get the fuck back into chat, asshole. Freaking snowflake, special snowflake made fun of his guy. Come on, come back, loose cunt. I was just kidding around, dude. Just kidding around, dude. All right, let's see. Other comments. Ace Farmer says Zimmerman good against Yankees batters. Yeah, that Yankees game makes me nervous. I like the Yankees close to first pitch yesterday. Today, I don't know. Very tough on that one. Let's see. Other comments here. Other comments. More fights. Ace Farmer asking, why is Bundy on such a long layoff? I can answer that question for you, Ace Farmer. It's entirely intentional. The Orioles are very concerned about Bundy's issues with his pitch counts and his inning counts. They know that he's been wearing down at the end of the year, and they have been intentionally giving him extra rest. And it's actually been doing well. His last start, he gave him a couple home runs, but also his strikeouts were up. So that is entirely intentional, and that's a good sign for Baltimore. He's not injured at all. Baltimore just wants to limit his innings and his pitches, and that's why he is on extra rest. So that's a good sign for Baltimore, good sign for Bundy. And again, I would like to be betting them. It's just at minus 180. I don't know. Maybe by first pitch I will be on them. As of right now, I'm not, though. I'll have to look into Gossett. I believe Gossett has done well recently, and it's just a high line there. But Ace Farmer, there's your answer. That's why Bundy is off of a long layoff. Okay. All right. Other questions here. Let's see. Just looking for there you go. All right. Okay. Comments. I'm just see the problem. A big problem why the serious questions don't get answered sometimes is because they're just hard to find. You know, like maybe yes. What would be great if we had someone who like looked and like anytime there was look. The truth is, serious questions should get priority over idiotic juvenile comments, right? As entertaining as they are. It's debatable. So yeah, it's debatable. But yeah, Tomoyo says, I hate betting David Shaw so fucking conservative, but Stanford's power running game seems to roll schools like Rice. Yes, and again, look, if everyone on Stanford, got $500,000 for beating Rice by 31, they would win. They would cover this one, and the game would probably go over. But my sense is that that's not going to happen. The fact that it's in Australia is a bit of a wild card. It's possible that they want to put on a show, for the Australian ladies. But, I think more likely we're going to see a conservative game that goes under. Definitely Rice is going to want a conservative game. Again, this is their Super Bowl. I think we're close to it. Mm-hmm. They're gonna, have a huge dose of running on the offense with their strong offensive line. So I'm liking the under on that one. Okay.
When are those teams arriving there? Do you know this?
In Australia?
Yes.
I don't know. I'm assuming that they're going to have a few days to,
I do too. I'm just curious.
Party around a little bit,
Yep. What's up, Drew?
SportsBook on Rice plus 30. Yeah, I mean, you know, I like the under more than Rice plus 30 because, again, I wouldn't be surprised if Stanford does wind up winning like 37-3, and then you got an under that cashes by 10 points and still a spread loss there. I mean, Rice is bad, and Stanford is looking pretty good this year. So, you know, Rice is not going to be able to – Stanford should be able to score as much as they want to, roughly. So I don't know about Rice plus 30, but I like the under. All right. I'm thinking that all right, I just want to say something to let's see. To all the posters. We love all the posters. Kobe Aaron Valentine, Mike Heap, Louis Skunt, Sosana, Rich Banks, Steven Succi, Austin Geist, of course, Wang Zhou, Hako Schofield, of course, and of course, Yu Domporn, Ratana Fakti, Nate Dogg, 420, everyone, Armin Hinjosa, all the fighting is, oh, here we go. Here's a new guy who had a question. Brandon Cummings, Pete, any parlays? I assume he might be asking about the football season. I used to do a parlay show. Simba Masiwa. Anyway, to finish up, my point is that, you know, all these fights are just kind of tongue-in-cheek, and they're entertaining, but, you know, well, I mean no ill will towards anyone, even the haters, on these shows. All right. Simba Masiyiwa asking about Kluber 10 strikeouts. Yeah, I think if Kluber is healthy, yes, you're going to get 10 strikeouts from him. I think you're going to get a strong start. The only issue is Kluber's ankle. It could be worth a shot to take you know, Boston on the team total under, first 5 innings team total under, which I'm assuming which is also not up yet, which is annoying. But yeah, it'd be tempting to take you know, Boston first 5 innings team total under, the under in that game in general. Kluber to have a good start, but you know, it's just with Kluber's ankle issue, I'm gonna hang off it. I'm gonna hang off it. Brendan Cummings, Pete, I want some low hanging fruit. Brandon Cummings, you can't force it, dude. You can't go to a tree
Can't force the fruit,
and look at the high hanging fruit and say that's low hanging fruit. If you lie to yourself, you are the only one who suffers, right?
Yeah, sure.
I can make some shit up. I can say, sure, Yankees minus 300, low hanging fruit. But it's not, you know what I mean? It's not. You can't start. You can't start. John Carey says, SBR, please get Pete on a weekend spot. John Carey, thank you so much. And actually, I think that they do want.
I was say, you want to work on the weekend? I think you're doing something.
Yeah. I think I am supposed to be doing a football show
you are.
On
yes,
Saturday
on
morning.
Saturdays.
So,
correct.
yeah, and I will be giving my official picks. And again, tracking them all. I'll probably be reporting my positive units much more than my negative units, but I'll be reporting it all honestly and tracking it. All right, so shout out to all the posters, Guan White. Shout out to all the Ace Farmer, all the great posters who make this all very, very entertaining. King Al, of course, fistful of parlays. Yeah, I'm sorry, no fruit today. What do you want? Blame the tree. Don't blame me. I'm just the messenger here, telling you what the low fruit on the tree is.
Sounds like something that Adam and Eve might have said. Blame the tree.
Yes, blame the tree. Blame the tree, baby.
Also, guys, before I forget, I was doing I know I mentioned this on a show a few weeks ago about doing a fantasy football league with you guys. I have been doing that on Twitter, but I guess I'll give our YouTube crowd a little love. I know not everybody's on Twitter, so we got a couple spots left. So if anybody out there right now is interested, just shoot me your email, I guess, or if you are on Twitter, get at us, and I will. That's the easiest way to contact us.
Excellent. Okay, so for my official picks, I've given 4 college football picks. Now I'll finalize my baseball bets. I will give the under in Colorado KC, and I'll just take the 9 at minus 104. Under 9, minus 104 in Colorado KC. And then the Washington-Houston game, for some weird reason, the first 5 inning team total over is not out on that one yet. The full game team total is 4. So I'm going to give either the full game team total over or the Houston does have a decent bullpen. All right, I will give the I'm going to give the Washington here. Let me just quickly check this.
Okay, go ahead. Austin, I have it set for tomorrow, but I probably end up doing it next week. Will be the draft. I was thinking about doing it live, in fact. So we could stream it live on SBR. What was that for? Just for our fantasy football league. So, Jensen, if you're interested, you know how to get a hold of me.
Yes, I'm just checking a Pinnacle to see if the first 5 inning team totals are up yet for that game, and if not, then maybe I'll just take it blindly. Let's see. Come on.
If you guys feel comfortable leaving your email address, go ahead. But other than that, the best way will be on Twitter to let me know.
All right, there we go. We got it. Washington Nationals over 1.183. All right, so that's
no entry fee.
Decimal odds. 1.183. Let me quickly check American odds. Come on, American odds, baby. USA, American odds. Decimal odds. All right, let's see. Washington, over 2 minus 123. There you go. That's another pick. Washington Nationals, first 5 innings, team total over 2 minus 123. And KC, Colorado, under 9, minus 104. That's it. I'm just going to give 2 picks today. It's a bit of a tricky card, and that's all I'm going to do. 2 picks in MLB, 4 picks in college football, nothing in WNBA. I did look at the 3 games, nothing in WNBA, and we'll be back tomorrow for the Thursday card. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. How do I turn this shit off?